I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance.
We have a flag of the United States of America,
to the republic which stands
one nation,
Indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
liberty and justice for all.
We'll get better at that someday.
When?
What year, Nick?
So we,
I think we need a class.
Roll call, Joyce.
Mayor Caucus,
Here.
Mrs. Spazio,
here,
Mr. Ranieri,
Here.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Here.
Mr. Farrell,
Here.
Mrs. Kelly,
here,
Mr. Shapiro.
He's not here tonight.
He's
He will
excused.
not be here.
Okay. Mr. Long,
Here.
Mr. Basor,
Here.
Mr. Anderson,
Here.
and Mr. Rozak.
Here.
Okay.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act has been given by the clerk in the following manner. 1, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 8th, 2020. And 2, emailed to the retrospect and courier post on January 8th, 2020. First order of business is resolution 2121 is a resolution authorizing the assignment of certain tax sale certificates. This is the hotel, correct?
Correct.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri.
I'll second that motion.
Ms. Paskey, you were muted.
I know, I'm muted, I'm sorry.
Who was the second? Was the second
I
Mr.
got
Farrell?
you back, Patty.
Mr. Farrell.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Mr. Farrell. Any other discussion? Basically, this was just the tax lien, all the taxes on the hotel have been paid. Roll call, please.
Good news.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes,
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Spazio,
yes,
Mr. Ranieri,
Yes.
and he's absent. 5 ayes, 1 absent.
All right, the resolution is adopted. Under new business for discussion this evening, we have a draft ordinance regarding outside employment. If you recall, a while ago, we had started this. This was important for us to the fees that are charged for the police services outside the normal duties. So this chapter is very good. The only thing it's missing is a fee schedule. So Officer Burns gave a copy to myself and I think Mr. Anderson. We're going to try to get this thing put together so that, Greg, I think the idea is to have this ready for January 1.
That is correct. January 1.
So we'll do an introduction at the next meeting, adopt it with the idea that starting January 1st, it'll be in force. Simultaneously, we also have an issue with our fire department. They also have some opportunities, well, not opportunities, they have some need to do fire watches. It's in our current ordinance, but it does not specify any kind of fee that is associated with a fire watch. So we have a draft of that also. So we'll do first reading at the next meeting and then finalize that. So starting in January, we'll be good for collecting those 2 fees. And it outlines all the rules for the outside employment and all that other kind of stuff. Municipal Alliance 2021 agreement. I don't have a copy of that in front of me. I'm assuming it's the same.
It just that came late. I assume this is the normal one. This is for the 2021, October 2020 to June 2021. I think it's the same as it's been over the past few years.
Okay.
Is there a budget mentioned?
yeah. How much money do we say?
They reduced it last year.
$332.99. Is that less than we normally get?
Nah, that can't be right.
About 3,000.
Yeah, that's not the same thing. Don't worry about it.
All right. Yeah, I think though, guys, I think that amount of money is determined by fees collected. So that's why it was different this year. So hopefully, it says simply, if the fees go up, we get more money for it. If the fees go down, we get less. We also have a new Class 2 appointment in the police department. I heard you guys say you're going to meet with them, meet and greet tomorrow, which
Yes.
is good. Is this gentleman, is he on here, Mr. Sampolsky? Is he all ready to go? He can go to work immediately?
Yes, he's through everything. The last phase is tomorrow, and then he'll be ready for the council meeting. He'll start the next day.
Okay, great. All right, we'll just go around the table now. We'll start off with Ms. Passio. Do you have anything to report?
Of course I do. Okay. Thank you, Mayor, Council. All right, so we have an event coming up on Saturday, which is Halloween night at 7 o'clock up at the police parking lot. We will have our movie the night before Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Harry, I have to get the CD. I have the CD, so I'm going to try to give it to you tomorrow so you can test it out, and I have other CDs just in case. So that's going to start at 7. We'll be giving out bags, trick-or-treat bags for the kids. And we're also going to have a contest, and the contest is going to be the best decorated car. It will be a $25 gift card. So it's a nice gift. So come decorate, come with a decorated car. Let's see if you become a winner. It will only be one winner. Also, retreat will be 6 in the afternoon. We're still having that, unless something drastic changes, but it will be door to door. So, and you also can go online and download, if you don't want to do trick or treat, we do have something that you can download, and you can put it in your window or in your door. And it said you won't be trick or treating this year.
Patty, did you say 3 to 6?
No, 2 to 6 is door to door.
Okay, thanks.
7 o'clock is the drive-in. $25 gift card for the best decorated. This week is also Red Ribbon Week, Municipal Alliance. They usually do it in school, and because they haven't done it in school, because actually, the school is white with the children, what they're doing is a scavenger hunt. So they're asking everyone to put red ribbons outside, put them in your window, put them on a tree, put them on a pumpkin, and the kids are going to walk around town and see how many red ribbons they can find. It's awareness for drug abuse, so that's what it is for. So go ahead, red ribbons. If you need red ribbon, I have some. And you want a bag, just let me know. I'll drop it off to you.
Should we put a few up at the Borough, Patty?
Yeah, I'll bring some tomorrow. I'm going to be there tomorrow at 10:30, so I would have thought maybe the Board of Education did that, but the administration would have done that, but I don't know if they did.
Okay.
If not, I'll bring the ribbon.
All right, that's good.
Just a couple things about Christmas. We are preparing for Christmas. There will be a Christmas in Runnemede, and it will be riding through town like we did for the 4th of July. I've already talked to the fire company. They're going to get a couple trucks from different towns. They will not have their usual party, and they will not pick out a winner, best decorated. But we're going to have some best decorated fire apparatuses in the party. In the parade. It will start at 7 o'clock. It will be on November 29th, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, as we always have. The only thing, and Santa will be coming. So we're going to have Santa on display as always. The only thing that we're going to be missing is the Christmas tree lighting. I'm not sure what night we're going to do that, but I want to do it. I want to coordinate it with the light show and the music light show that we have. So when Harry can tell me when that's ready, we'll invite the town to drive up. We'll turn on the music and the lights, and we'll have Santa or our mayor light up our Christmas tree. So, if anybody has any ideas, I sure would appreciate it. Hit me with them, because, I can use all the help I can get as far as ideas. I'm trying. Thank you, Harry, for helping me out on this. With that, if you have any questions, let me know. Supposed to be good weather on Saturday and no wind. So keep it across and I'll see you on Saturday. Progress.
Okay, thank you. So I just want to add one more thing to your list, though, is the reorganization meeting. We'll have to start thinking about that. We'll talk a little bit more when we get to Parks and Recs about the capacity and stuff like that, but it's something we have to put on our radar screen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kelly, would you like to go next?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I received a notice from Captain Kearney regarding our junior firefighters. About 2 years ago at the JIF meeting, they were talking about the liability that we incur when we have junior firefighters. And I knew it was a concern. The matter was then addressed with the state assembly, and they've introduced a bill that looks like we're going to have to adopt if it's passed with regard to new rules and regulations regarding our junior firefighters. So I'll keep you posted on that because the JIF has been very active in getting that fixed. MedExpress let me know that they are doing workman's comp now. They straightened out all the situation with Riverside and MedExpress. So now Riverside will be able to do workman's comp, which I'm very glad of because a lot of our men go there when they're injured as a first recourse. There was an email that came to me over the past couple days about a food drive on the parking lot of the Harry Williams. I passed it on to the chief and I passed it on to you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if anybody has gotten back to that lady. I told her that I would get back to her, but I think that's something we should discuss if we're going to allow her group to do that food drive. They're going to give out food to people who need it.
So are they going to be collecting at the Harry Williams, or are they going to be distributing?
No, they're just giving out food, and they want people to drive their cars up to the parking lot. They'll give their food, and then the cars will drive off. It's that kind of a thing.
Okay, so it's not a collection because the borough is doing a collection right now, so this is separate from that.
Correct.
I have no problem with that as long as she gives us a date and time, and this way the police department will know that they're there. And
Does she have to file something? Does she have to file something with OEM? Because I know whenever we do anything, we always have to file paperwork with OEM.
she's not going to be going in the building though, right? She's not asking for the building to be open, is she?
No, Nick, it's going to be from 10 to 2 on November 21st. This is when she would like to have it, correct, Eleanor?
Correct.
It sounds to me that we're going to need the help from the police because of one way in, one way out of the parking lot. So they're not going to be able to do that themselves. So, it's up to us whether I don't know how many food baskets or food boxes that they have, but it's actually the woman who has the dance studio on Avenue.
Yeah.
It's her and a Christian organization.
I think it really depends on the scale, this project, right? How big is it? How many packages?
Yeah, that would be a good.
The only thing we could do, maybe Mr. Wozon will set up a few cones or something like that, and at least the police department is aware. Maybe they can stop by and see how busy it is. I know that there's been a lot of need for food pantries. I mean, ours in town has really been hit hard, so maybe there will be a lot of people that show up. As long as I think the police department knows about it, Public Works knows about it, we can help them as much as we can. I don't see any reason if they're not going into the building, they're really just using the parking lot. Basketball, there is one other issue. Basketball will be starting, but we do have to double check that basketball doesn't conflict with that date. Basketball will be doing registrations in the middle of the month. So I don't know, they probably don't start till the week after Thanksgiving. Craig, you remember when they start?
That's when they'll start. They're still not sure, Nick, that they're gonna start yet. Richie is gonna iron stuff out with Bob and Dan Long. So we make sure we do this right. There's still.
Well, what about St. Teresa's? Are we allowing them to come in?
They can, we're just got.
That's a good question.
Set up that there can't be more than 25 people, which basically means no spectators. And as long as the organizations are okay with that, I think we can work something out with them where everyone signs a waiver. They only allow 25 people in there, and regardless of who's using it versus Darwire or St. Teresa's, we can start doing it. I think that's what everyone's saying is Mr. Shapiro is trying to figure out exactly the details, how many teams and things like that. I'll make sure he reaches out to St. Teresa's. But that's the only thing we can about food drive.
Sure.
Mayor, you haven't answered my question. What should I tell this woman?
I think we should tell her it's going to happen. I think what we can do is, if there is basketball at that time, we just won't allow basketball to go between 10 and 2, so that there's no conflict.
However, maybe you should ask, though, how many boxes do they have food? What's the anticipation of how many people will be going through? That might make a difference.
I mean, the borough parking lot's also an option if we have an event at the building.
But I think the heroin's lend itself for in and out, though, pretty well. Correct, guys? It does.
Yeah, it's better. So first thing, I'll find out how many boxes she's giving. How many people she expects, right? How many cars?
Yes.
And Harry,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, Harry, what do you need to know from her with regard to this food drive? Is there something you need to know or do for her?
I'll probably coordinate with the police department and find out a traffic plan that they'll set up, and we'll go from there.
So it's the 21st from 10 to 2. Everybody's okay with it?
Yeah, please tell her mask and social distancing.
Oh, hi, Jackie. That's the name. Okay.
So I heard your question.
Wait till
So-
we're done. Jackie, you can't talk right now. Wait till we're done and then you can ask your questions, okay? All right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's my report.
Okay. Mr. Farrell.
Hi, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Last time I reported on the Scout building, they're moving ahead. Legal issues have been resolved. The Department of Public Works has completed demo of the interior, and today the architect showed up, so they're looking better. Craig stopped today, and he said when he got there, his man was basically done all his work he needed to do. So hopefully we're moving ahead quicker. Beaver Branch Park, still getting quotes on the LED lighting. And Davis Road project, moving along, waiting for people to sign off on their easements running through their yards. And all the rest progress.
I want to jump on that just a little bit, and I know we have Mr. Bayshore here and Mr. Anderson. So, Greg, one of the concerns is to try to get these easements done as quickly as possible. Obviously, there's a financial aspect. The state is giving us funding, but they don't pay for everything. They have some exemption, and I don't believe we realize that the easements were something that we have to we have to pay up front. Do you have an idea, or could you come up with some type of a solution so that we can continue to try to move forward to get these easements closed before the end of the year?
I am currently working with bond counsel and the auditors on that. We do not have a definitive plan yet. We are working on that, trying to get it in at this point in the year. It makes it a little tough. We're at this point in the year in the middle of a pandemic to acquire those kind of funds this quickly. But we are trying.
Okay, well, if you could, like I said, let me know. I mean, obviously, I'm hoping there's some different options. We'll talk with the engineer a little bit more about it. I have a couple other ideas. But the idea here is that if we could close out these easements, it allows us to move forward with our applications. So waiting until next year, even though it might be easier on the books, hopefully there's another temporary fix to get us over the line to get them done. So just so everyone knows, those properties that cross over in people's yards, we need an easement from them to put this pipe in underground. The homeowners are pretty satisfied with the circumstances, but obviously, like any kind of negotiations, we want to try to get it done and finished so that our application isn't hindered on any type of agreement with someone. So, all right, great, thank you. Mr. Ranieri, would you like to give your
Thank you, Mayor. I'm usually not towards the end, but I think I can handle it. In finance, we finally got the Gatsby report completed, which will allow us to wrap up our 2019 audit, our finance audit, our operating audit, and pretty soon we'll be scheduling the exit conference. And I'll let you know at a meeting soon to let you know when that's scheduled. Then we'll get the results of how we fared in 2019 overall, as far as our accounting programs and things like that. Also, finance, the finance committee, Eleanor, the mayor, and myself need to get together. Greg's asking if we can get together before the next borough meeting, which is Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday. If any of those days are good for you, I'll schedule around it. Of course, if it's Wednesday, it would have to be early. But we're going to be talking about the salary ordinance. We need to get that taken care of and revised as soon as possible for the end of the year. And so I'll call you later on that. I'm going to move right into our Sustainable Pie program, our Sustainable New Jersey program. We're midway through it. We're making a lot of progress. We just completed our landscape survey, evaluation of all the borough operations. And we're now moving on to visualizing how we see the future moving forward, how we take the information we got from the landscape and our deficiencies, how we can strengthen our operation and move some projects along that we've been long waiting to do. So I'm excited to get moving forward with that. I think we have our next meeting is November 6th. And Eleanor and I and the mayor will be getting together soon to put some things together and then get it out to the full committee before the November 6th meeting. It's been pretty exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. Also, I wanted to talk about the labyrinth. They've got, I see Ken's here, Ace is here. I'm not sure who else I see out there, but we worked all weekend. We put a lot of time in over the weekend to get the grant. There's a grant we're going for the labyrinth. The cost is going to be around $12,000. We're applying for a $5,000 grant. Expect to raise most of those funds through businesses and personal donations where we can purchase bricks. And I'm going to be purchasing 3 or 4 personally, and my business will also be committing some funds to the project. We're looking for some support. It's going to be a great place, a great place to just relax and have a peaceful moment for yourself during the day or evening. And that's moving forward, and maybe when the time is right, somebody from Reimagine Runnemede might speak on that. But we've got all our ducks in a row there. And then finally, Councilman Rich and myself, we're working on the outdoor gym equipment. I know Patty's looking forward to it. And it's there's a grant that we applied for. It's about a $7,000 grant. There's multiple packages available. This is something we could talk about in 2021, but I want to lay out the ground floor. Of course, if we can get our hands on $6,000 or $7,000 towards the project, makes it more appetizing. And with that, unless there's any question, I'm done. Progress.
Tom, did you get my email about my considerations with regard to the JIF and the liability and all the considerations?
I did. Yeah. We'll talk about everything. Yep.
Okay.
It's not a problem. I don't see that being an issue, but we'll deal with that. Anything else? All right. Progress.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Robinson.
All right, the leaf schedule is posted on our website. Leafing has started. I know they were last week, on the week of the 18th, they were on my side of the pike on the east side. And this week they are on the west side, which is this part near Volt School. And the side demarcation line is the Black Horse Pike. Sewer, there's one sewer lateral repair being worked on for a lien. For 2019, the sewers had 257 service calls, And today that was for 2019. Today we're at 245 for 2020. It's a big increase. Increase due to COVID-19. One reason for increased overtime expense in sewer. Regular maintenance is being completed. Regular trash and recycling being completed. Working on trash 2021 trash shared service agreement. Nick, we got that today. We'll talk about that more. Chipping as needed. The ball fields are in property cut still ongoing due to the mild weather. The snow plows have been going over and the salt spreaders have been going over. And as Mr. Farrell said, the Scout building, I was down there today, it's completely gutted. And Mr. Bayshore can give us more light on when the timing of the report will be, but that will be a big help in getting the Scout building moving. So we don't sit 6 months down the road with nothing being done. And the rest is progress.
Okay, thank you. I will go around.
If you don't mind, real quick, Mayor, Greg, the fountain, it's been clogged probably for 3 or 4 days. They just gotta shut that off and reset it or something?
Yeah, I did that today. I stopped by and did it.
Did it go up?
Yeah, it does that. It's going to come out soon. It's not going to be in there much longer anyway. But if the fountain is still doing the job, or the aerator, I should say, it's what it is. It looks like a fountain, yes, but an aerator. It's still doing the job when it's working down low. It's still circulating the water and moving the water around. And the fountain part, when it sprays in the air, is for aesthetics.
Yeah.
The other part is for keep the water moving.
Sure.
And so it's still working well. But the problem is when the stormwater drain water comes down through the woods, it brings a lot of sediment and leaves and stuff, particularly this time of year. A lot of leaves come down, they get caught in the screen underneath, and what you have to do is shut it off. There's a box by the bridge there. I have the combination, and I can show you sometime if you want.
Yeah.
But it's going to be out sometime soon. So.
Can we change the color on it?
I would imagine we could, but
Like
I don't
orange
know.
for Halloween?
A little late now. Halloween's a couple days away, but we'll look into it for next year.
All right, cool.
All right. And I'll put that on Mr. Sapero's plate when he gets back for these meetings.
Yeah, all right, great,
There you
thank you.
go, Dave.
That's like the lights.
Yeah, they're nice.
Colored lights, yeah, it used to be really pretty.
Well, we
Well, I have
should
colored
do,
lights.
for breast cancer awareness, things like that, we should utilize the colors.
I have orange lights on my front porch right now. You can come look at them. So,
I will, I'll drive by, thank you.
there you go. All right.
I have pink on my door, so you can come look at that light.
I'll be busy, I better get some coffee.
Okay,
Stop it, Oliver.
we'll go around with the professionals now. Let's start a little different. Mr. Anderson, did you have anything to report? Add?
No, I think John covered it all. Rest is progress.
Okay, thank you. We have a bill list tonight, correct?
Yes.
Okay. We'll go to Mr. Woza.
Progress, and Mr. Labasine gave a report of everything we've been doing. For if there's any questions, feel free to ask them. Feel free to ask.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Mr. Bayshore. Mr. Bayshore. I'm getting a lot of feedback. Somebody turn off your mic. Somebody turn off your mic. Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Bayshore.
Mayor. I submitted my report in writing, and Bob Farrell talked about most of the things I was going to talk about. The only thing I wanted to add is that. The lot behind the Acme, our survey department finished the subdivision plan, and we're forwarding that to the conflict solicitor. And the other thing is, which both was talked about, is the Scout building. It was the first day that our architects got inside it to take the measurements. I don't know if they found anything out of the ordinary, but I'll find out what their design schedule is for the fit out of the building, and we'll report on that at next next council meeting, which is the election. So with that, progress.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Mr. Long, leave the best for last.
What other way to do it? Thank you, Mayor. There's a few personnel things happening behind the scenes that's not fit for public consumption, but they're being worked on. Everybody else touched on the Scout building. That's coming to a good conclusion, I think, for all parties. So I appreciate everyone's support and help on that. I do have the Fire Watch fee ordinance on my to-do list, of course. So that will be done for first reading for next week's meeting. That will get done, and the rest is progress.
Dan, I have a question. Did you ever get to that single form for the waiver?
Oh, no question.
No? Is that something you're going to get to soon?
Single form for the waiver? Can you refresh my memory?
Well, the mayor and I sent you.
I know what you're referring to. Can you refresh my memory?
I will. I sent you an email
Okay.
about 2 weeks ago, and it's in regards
Okay,
to.
hang on. Go ahead, I'm listening. I'm just looking for the email. I found it. I think I found it.
Okay, and it's in regards to, we're starting to open up some of these these monthly meetings, one meeting per month, different groups, the Women's Club, the Poet Society, and it's just a waiver that says that each group leader for that day is responsible for the capacity of the building to adhere to the New Jersey state law. That's it.
So here's what I got, John. You did send it to me back on October 14th. Same day, I sent you a response asking which groups we're talking about specifically, just so I can tailor it, because there are different legal requirements depending on who the group is.
It'll be...
so I think like 10 minutes later, I send you that email. If you just let me know who we're talking about, I'll get the waiver done, no problem.
It's going to be many. It's going to be whatever groups that we have get together and utilize our building. So maybe I'll list them all out for you. This way it'll be here. Good. Good.
Please do. That would be helpful. Yeah, because there's different requirements in the executive orders and otherwise existing laws. That will tailor what I write. So I need that information to get that done.
I heard you twice.
Joy.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor Caucus, I just want to bring up the fact that Councilwoman Fazio, the dog warden, submitted their proposal for next year. They didn't change any of the fees, so it's the same as last year. Are you happy with them? I didn't know.
Patty, you happy?
Yes,
Patty,
you're muted.
Happy?
Unmute.
Patty,
You're muted, Patty. Unmute yourself. You're muted, Patty. Unmute yourself.
Unmute.
She's smiling. She said yes a million times. She's smiling. She said yes a million times.
Okay, so you're good with him?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I think it was $475 per month. So, okay, that's all that I have.
Thank you, Joyce.
Okay, so we'll move on to, we'll do the payment of bills and then we'll do good and welfare. Would someone like to make a motion to pay the monthly bills?
I'll make the motion to pay the bills.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Lobenstein, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, Ms. Pinto. You have to unmute though first.
I'm not used to being muted. Ms. Passio. Mr. Maneri.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
And that's 5 ayes.
All right, the bill shall be paid. All right, if everyone wants to mute their mic, and go to the public portion, especially you, Joyce,
I'll shut mine off. Is this a public portion now?
Yes, so this portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, give your name and address.
Can I go?
Yes, give your name and address.
Yes, I'm Jenny Brown, and I live on Sherrington Lane, right down the street from Mr. Farrell. I just have a question as to regards of how to get in. I'm sorry, what? 588 Sherrington.
Thank you.
Sorry, I got my headphones on because I had kids here and then they left. My question goes to getting an ordinance changed in the town. I'm having a trouble with the ordinance for garage sales in the fact that over the summer I received a summons for having a yard sale without a permit, and I was made to go to court for that, and eventually had to plead guilty to it because I did have a yard sale without a permit. So the fine, I had to pay $88 for that as a penalty. My question is, the ordinance for yard sales was written in 1970 and was just reading online about it. And my question is there any, how would we go about changing that to be better accommodating to the citizens that live here? Some of the things that are in the ordinance seem kind of outdated. And many local towns do not uphold to these same statutes as regards to, I mean, it says on there you're not supposed to start till 9 a.m. and even the townwide yard sale started at 8. That you have to give 2 weeks notice in order to get a permit. You know, in this day and age with technology, it seems like you should be able to get a permit within a day or two. And only having one every 6 months, I feel like, you know, it's a fun thing to do, to have a yard sale, and it doesn't really disturb the neighborhood too much, and even allowing maybe 2 throughout the summer would be a little more lenient. I looked at some other codes online. I couldn't find anything about yard sales in Belmar, and I had called some other local towns last month, and many of them do not require a permit at all for yard sale. They just have some regulations into, like, you can have a yard sale, but, you know, you can't have more than 2 or 3. I mean, you don't want a person having a yard sale every week, obviously. But I just think maybe this needs to be looked at to just better meet our citizens. And my whole motto of just trying to be kind to people and make life easier. I mean, law-abiding citizens, I consider myself, I don't get into too much trouble, get, you know, hauled in for not having a permit for a garage sale. It's kind of silly, but especially with COVID when the offices are closed and it's a little more difficult. But anyhow, that's what I have to say.
Okay, just a couple of quick things. So you're right, the ordinance does exist from the 70s. The way it would be amended is we would change whatever. Like, for example, you say the 8 a.m. start time. So we would amend the ordinance to start at 8 o'clock, and we could always add additional yard sale amounts per year. But the reason that, so how do you, I guess the question I'd have, if a town regulates the amount, how do they know how many yard sales someone has is if they don't notify the town that they're having one? Did you notice that in any of the other ordinances?
No, I didn't notice that. Most towns just really don't keep track unless it becomes a problem or neighbors complaining or, you know, I know that there's a property on Evesham that seems to have a yard sale every week, and they are in Runnemede, but nothing is ever quite, you know, done with it. But
do you have the address of that property?
It just changed hands over there. It was that brown one on the one side. I guess because they're on Evesham, they have a lot of publicity there. But it has solar panels and it's brown. It just sold.
Yeah, the only thing I'll tell you about this ordinance, like you said, it was created in the 70s. It's mostly, the intent is to limit the amount that people have because of the fact that people could run a business by having yard sales.
Yes.
amount of trash that's put out there. You know, one of the things.
It was not created in the 70s, it was created in 1991.
Oh, really?
Correct.
It says on the top of the ordinance that it was carried over from 1970. I have it right here.
The code book itself was codified
Okay.
in 1970, but there was no yard sale ordinance until 1991. Prior to that, they were forbidden in the town altogether.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I think yard sales are fine. I think the only reason is we just have to have some limitations on them. Because, one of our biggest problems is trash. And trash has been a huge issue. You pay almost $75 a ton to get rid of trash. And recycling, we're having difficulty even having recycling. Where, as you heard, if you were listening to the meeting, Mr. Lawson, trash.
Mama. You have to be quiet, honey.
You can mute yourself for just a second.
I can't hear what he's saying. The only positive about a yard sale is it would cut down on your amount of trash because people are selling things rather than throwing it out.
But Jen, I know there's people who actually bring stuff into town that they sell.
This is true.
Okay, so you are aware.
Yes.
Okay. So, while I think council can definitely consider making some.
I cannot, can you take it, please? I'm in the middle of the meeting, I can't hear what you're saying. I'm so sorry.
Mama.
You need to come over to me.
No.
Mommy.
That's fine.
I'm so sorry.
So I think council would consider making some of these changes, correct, Ms. Pastio? You think the hours maybe should change and the amounts maybe should change? If that's what the town, that's why we have the townwide yard sale to help people clean their properties out.
Exactly.
But we just have to be very conscientious of, you know, the neighbors and the cost of disposing of trash. Did anybody want to?
But I think most people are very comfortable with it being at 9 o'clock. So we can set up that, because if you make it earlier, I mean, that the borough townwide yard sales for 8 o'clock. It has nothing to do with our town yard sales for residents. So we always started up at 8 o'clock. But I think, you know, 9 o'clock, if you started it earlier, people would start packing and putting their stuff out the night before. And that's what happened a lot of times. They start putting their stuff out the night before and they cover it. And, you know, I think our ordinance is perfect. I think it is. I think it accommodates people to be able to don't have a business, but we can discuss it.
Okay. Any other comments on this before we move on?
Yeah, I think it's a good, Jen, I think it's a good idea to look at it.
Thank you.
A little bit antiquated. I think 3 or 4 a year would be good. And maybe Patty, and maybe we can match it up more to the noise ordinance, because our noise ordinance is 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. I know what you're saying, Patty, about people putting it out the night before. Just make sure people don't do that as part of the permits. But as long as we track that, you know, I don't think it would be a problem. No offense, Jen, but we had yard sales in the past. I'll never do one again. I just can't stand the people who come.
I'm not against getting a permit at all. It's the 2-week notice that kind of throws a wrench. Because my husband is a letter carrier, and he'll sometimes get a day off, you know, and I don't even know 2 weeks ahead that he's going to be off that particular day that I may want to have one. That's the only thing with the 2 weeks. And with, you know, technology, you should be able to email, you know, Joyce and get it back within a day or 2 or even 3, but.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a valid point. We'll look at it down the road. We'll look at it. We'll talk about it.
Okay, that's all I ask. Like, if you're not willing, you can't fight when you get a ticket or a summons. You've got to go and fight. Well, not really fight isn't the right word, but you have to address the law that you don't agree with. And so I do thank you for your considerations. And I thank you for.
I would just like to add something, Jenny, because we are in the middle. John Ranieri, Councilman. We are in the middle of digitizing, doing some working on digitizing some of the forms and permits. And that's ultimately going to be part of that program. That's just in the very beginning stages of it. But we're working towards digitizing a lot of our documents.
Yeah, I know Patty and I went around and around about the, it was me, Patty, that was emailing you about the phone system and what happens when you actually call the township. And I spent a long time calling the township, about 25 different times, so that I could push each prompt and see what happened. And none of the prompts that, for me personally, Patty said that she was able to get to a person. But when I pushed certain buttons, it never led me to a person. It led me, in fact, I have the whole list of what the buttons led to. But to actually have a button that says, press this button to reach the township clerk, there is no button for that. And so, you know, if you don't know that her number, whatever her number is, if you don't know that number, then you're at a loss. If you don't know somebody, there's no directory, like you can't push a button to hear the directory, or just hit the button to leave a message. There's nothing. So, you know, with COVID and not being able to go directly to the downtown to the office, there really should be something that you can press to speak to a person.
Did you go on our website at all? What did you think about our website?
The website is fine, and honestly, I did email Joyce about asking her how to get an ordinance changed in the town, and she emailed me right back. So that is fine, but I know some residents are not as good on computers as others, and so, you know, it's faster just for me to call sometimes to get something done, but
Jenny, I will say all of council, our cell phone numbers are public information.
Right.
You call me anytime.
Okay.
I'll be able to help you.
I appreciate that.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for your time. I do appreciate your service and to,
Thank you.
you know, our community. It's not easy to deal with the public at times.
Thank you.
Now go play with that kid. I know he's looking for you.
We just adopted him a few months ago, so we've had him since he was born. We went from 3 teenagers, got into foster care, and got one that we didn't want to give back, and we were able to keep him, so. A new resident to town.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, someone else? I'm going to actually ask Ms. Young, because Jackie, you want to give your name and address, and I hope you heard the questions that we're going to be asking for you.
Yep. My name is Jackie Young. My address is 213 Forest Drive, Runnemede, New Jersey. And I'm the owner of Dynamic Gas Explosions over on 102 East Clements Ridge Road on Lindsay, off of Lindsay. So the number we are looking to do, so this is not our first food giveaway. We've participated with the nonprofit organization that we're matching up with. We did one in July out in Berlin. In the parking lot. So it was, I mean, we have enough volunteers for it to run very smoothly. It's really quick. It's really in and out, pop your trunk and keep on moving type of thing. And so the number we're looking to do in Runnemede is between 75 to 100. But again, the cars are literally stopped for maybe a good, no more than 3 minutes. Like we have a good system where we're moving and moving. Everything's already pre-bagged. And it really is. I mean, we'll have signs where like in, out, one way. I mean, the cones from the police department would definitely be a great help, but I think it would be I think it would run very smoothly, especially with the parking lot at Harry Williams.
Okay, well, that sounds great then. I think this way that'll take a little pressure off the public works. The police department knows you're going to be there. I think you just have to have the event and hopefully it runs very successfully. Did anybody have any other questions? I think she answered everything and it was good.
Can we help you any other way?
However you want to help. We are not against any help at all. If you want to come out and volunteer, if you want to be a part of anything, you know, I can send my email out or you can contact me. My number's on my website. If you go on a dance studio website, my phone number's on there to contact me directly. But any help that we can get would definitely be a great help. I did have another question. I'm not sure if anybody knows. The senior home back by the motor vehicles, we were wondering if we had kitchens to cook. That way those who can't come out, we can deliver, you know, drop food off to them. If that was possible, something possible.
It's the Runson House, Jack.
Okay. We weren't sure. We weren't sure if they had kitchens or were able to cook or anything. So we were, you know, I have never been in there. Or well, no. When I was younger in Mary Bowles, we did and stuff over there, but that was some years ago. So, other than that, I wasn't sure on how to do that because I don't want to leave our seniors at Runnemede hanging for those who can't come out.
Yeah,
Great idea.
I'm not sure if they have a kitchen, but, you know, I do know they recently, as a matter of fact, yesterday, got some food boxes. And, so, I mean, you can call and talk to someone in there and, possibly ask if, you know, they can, use some food. That would be good.
Okay, awesome. I did have one more question. I know back in July we had the one sign, we were giving the businesses the one sign. Is that still a thing or is that not? Because I looked on the website and I don't see anything on it. I did see that the July book came out, but that was about it. That's the last place I saw it.
Are you talking about the one additional sign you can have, like a lawn sign or something like that?
Yeah, the lawn sign.
You can still do that, yes.
Okay, all right. That's all I have.
Thank you. Appreciate all you're doing. Thank you.
Just one other thing, please make sure that masks and social distancing is observed.
Always.
Ms. Young, are you there? It's Captain Sampolsky.
Yes.
If you would like, during the week, if you have time during the day, you can stop down and see me and I can assist you in how the police department can help for that day.
Awesome, I'll definitely do that. Thank you so much.
You got it, no problem.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Is anyone else from the public wishing to speak? I see a few more people.
Yeah. Hey, so it's, you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so Kenneth Lee, I live at 12 Washington Avenue, and I'm representing Reimagine Runnemede tonight. I have two of my team with me, Diane Fredrickson and Asa Sturdivant. We sent a letter to the town council to kind of prep the meeting tonight, and what we were interested in is following up on other activities for our group of volunteers to do. We have some interest in trying to explore reopening the trails along Runnemede Lake Park, and that's the 18-acre site of land that's located between Lakeview, Shepherd, and Singley Avenue around Hirsch's Lake. If you guys are a pamphlet, surfaced a little while ago. It was a historic guide to Runnemede Lake Park, and on the back there was a map that showed where the trails were. This parcel of land was dedicated in November of 1964 as a place for public resort and recreation. And then in 1965, a committee was appointed, and then there were a lot of citizen action. There were volunteer work weekends where people built trails, created the bridges, built the pavilion, and we were interested in taking a look probably during the month of November, once the leaves fall off the trees, to begin to explore to see how much of the original trail system exists, and then planning a work weekend in December to try to go in and open the trails up. And we wanted to find out sort of the if you guys could assist us with that, and what the next steps would be.
So, Mr. Bayshore, you're still on there. Obviously, the existing trails, opening them back up should not be any problem. I think there's only a few issues with crossing the streams. When we looked at this last time, that was about the only thing that was a little more difficult. Does anybody remember that? And Mark, if you want to jump in. So, the trail path, not a problem, any of that stuff. Public Works can assist with some help with that things, but volunteers cleaning paths is completely allowed in this type of a property. The only thing I would ask us is, I like your idea of going out there and maybe putting some ribbons up to kind of identify the path again and come up with a route that is the best route to kind of mimic what was there and what works today. Because of the stormwater issue, I think Mr. Lobenstein was saying, there's a tremendous amount of flooding that goes on in there. So when we walked this a few years ago, a previous council had put some funds, we had actually $25,000 allocated to start this project. We just never got together. We just couldn't get the group to agree. But I think it's definitely something we've always wanted to do. I think, Mr. Bayshore, if you could just help us just a little bit about the crossing the stream aspect. If there's any little insight that you could give us, or if you can't give it to us tonight, give it to us later, so that we know what, because there were some existing pilings that are still there, but I do know there are some rules. Mr. Bayshore?
I'm not familiar with that. I think Steve Bach walked the trail with Councilwoman Scaramucci years ago. So I'm not exactly familiar with what crossings we have, but obviously anything we do could not interfere with wetlands. It's something we can look into, but I don't know enough information about that trail right now to make a comment on it.
And your point about the wetlands is that, a path can go through wetlands. You're talking about the bridges, things like that?
Correct. Any bridges, if you have to put footings in for bridges, and a permanent structure, you have to permit for it.
So if it's not a permanent structure, it doesn't need a permit then?
Correct. But you can have a natural trail, but if you start putting asphalt or anything impervious, you're going to have to get a permit for it.
Okay. Well, Ken, I will tell you one thing. I don't know if anybody's ever walked Bushkill Falls. Anyone go on the Bushkill?
No.
You go to Bushkill, and it's funny, because I remember that conversation many years ago about the permanent structures and dealing with the DEP permitting. But if you're at Bushkill, if you look at videos or any kind of photos, all of their bridges and most of their stuff is not permanently affixed. They build it in such a way that even the bridges were designed in a way that they did not impact. How do I explain it? Picture a log laying across something. It was tied with ropes and things like that. Almost very similar to, Ken, I think what the original Scouts did many years ago, right? They really didn't have concrete or things of that nature. So I definitely think it's something we can do. I just think that the only coordination I think we have to really think about is that one of the problems we're having with the lake is the sediment buildup. So if we can at least think about that as one of our biggest problems. The group really needs to go down there on a rainy day and see the deluge of water that gushes from the street. This is all stormwater from the Black Horse Pike and Clemens Bridge Road. So if there's a way for us to make everything better, that would be the best. So if even getting started with the paths, I think the only difficulty is going to be the crossing the waterways. And then the borough does have a lot of equipment that can.
Great. Yeah, I think the intention, since the Green Acres Park is a developed park with asphalt hiking trails, that this park would be what we're thinking of is more, it's left a natural area where there's no asphalt trails, it's just basically dirt trails. And then, we had a brief conversation with the Scouts. They were interested in helping with bridge building. So I think it would be more along the lines of, if you've been to Crow's Woods over in Haddonfield, there's some simple wooden structures for crossing the wetlands areas or the watery areas. So something a little bit, not with concrete footings, just very, very natural.
I think it's a great idea. I know Ms. Passio is excited about it, correct?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I am.
All right, great.
Let's get together at some point and let's walk down, and we can walk as a large group or however you want to do it. I think everyone's going to be involved. It sounds like this is a great project.
Yeah, great. Okay, thank you very much for your support. I appreciate that.
Nick, let me just add a little bit, because I was back there with Ken and I saw the area. The store knocked over a bunch of trees that are on the pathway. They're pretty good sized trees. And you said that, the public works could put the hand. Do we have the capacity to cut some of them out of the way and leave them in place like we do when the trees fall at Green Acres? Just cut the tree out of the way. Can we do something like that, Harry?
I think, I don't want to talk, Mr. Herrick and Mr. Walzer can jump on, but I think we have some ability, absolutely. I will say this, our experience is a dead tree we are allowed to clean. It's living trees, it becomes more difficult. So that's why the path location should really be considered of saving as many living trees as possible. But Public Works does have some equipment that could do some of that stuff. And it's funny you say that. I walked through, I went up to Mount Tammany, if you guys know where that is, the Delaware Water Gap. And they did exactly what John's saying. They literally just cut between the two trees and left the path going between. They must have had a terrible windstorm that knocked a lot over, and all they did was just cut between them. So I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Harry, you still there?
Can keep us posted.
Okay, thank you very much.
Harry might have faded out on us. Okay, is there anyone else from the public wishing to speak? Okay. Seeing no one else and hearing no one else, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I'll make a motion to
I'll
close the portion.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Lobenstein. All in favor?
Aye.
Does anybody have anything else before we adjourn?
Yeah, real quick,
Halloween? Happy Halloween?
happy Halloween. Real quick, getting back to the Harry Williams building. I have a stepdaughter that plays basketball for St. Teresa's, and I don't know if Joyce got it, if they have to give her a permit or something, but their season's postponed right now. The basketball.
Joyce, you're muted, Joyce.
Yeah, I know they postponed, but now that things opened up again, there might be interest, so.
Okay.
We'll make.
So what is the capacity, Mayor?
That is only it's only 25 for the players and coaches. So if the players and coaches exceed 25, that's allowed. But it's only 25.
Are the organizations agreeable to that?
Some.
They don't have a choice. It's an executive order.
Yeah.
I understand, but are they even going to open up?
That's still in discussion. That's what Teresa's proposed and trying to watch.
Let me shed some light here on this whole thing. Guys, hang on. You can hear my clock in the background, sorry. Many high school sports are shutting down already. Our soccer association for high school, we lost 11 high schools today that are shut down for 2 weeks due to COVID. I don't think there's going to be wintertime basketball inside for the high schools and elementary schools. You know, it's going to be very tough for our recreation to do it. Hopefully they can do it, but the 25 people is the limit. And so that's just coaches and players. As a sports official, I said to Richie today, that would be a godsend. It would keep all the parents out, and it would make things a lot easier. The parents are the worst of the sports. But, you know, it's going to be a very tough and fluid situation with all this. You know, the soccer is just shutting down left and right. So that's just shedding some light on it. You know, and the people are not listening on the sidelines. They're not wearing their masks. They're not social distancing. You know, they are not doing the things they're supposed to do. And it's just, you know, Washington Township High School soccer, men's and women, have been shut down 3 different times so far this fall for 2 weeks. They come back, they get going. And when doing my soccer, they score a goal, I see pick piles all the time. They just don't get it. And the coaches, you know, they don't do anything about it. So, and the parents are behaving like they want. So that's my light on it.
And I'm glad you give us a little light on your personality you have there, that you like all the people. That's okay. All right, well, we'll just play it by ear. I think that, once again, we were just following the governor's 25. You're right.
Your parent spectators stink.
Yes.
Yes, they do. I have a question for Mr. Sampolsky. How
Yes, ma'am.
food drive turn out?
Terrific. Captain Murray and I, our new officer, Evangeliste, got involved. Captain Murray and I went to Acme today. We did some food shopping bright and early when the doors open. We got everything boxed up and ready for delivery. And the stuff that I picked up from up front this afternoon is going to go out also. So the police department participated well in it.
Okay, great.
Great. Anything else? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Farrell, second by Ms. Passio. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned at 7:05. Thank you all very much.
Nice.